Hey there, mini money mentors. I was thinking, have you ever thought poker could actually help your kid out with financial literacy? Yeah, I know it sounds a little bit wild, but it's a personal anecdote that I want to share with you. So hear me out, okay? Back in college, I once actually walked away from a poker game 500 bucks richer, but honestly, the real treasure wasn't the money. It was the lessons I picked up along the way. Those late night games turned into a unexpected crash course in money smarts, if you will. And who would have thought, right? Now, I'm not saying we should get our kids dealing cards, even though I don't think it's the worst thing. But the lessons from poker, absolute gold in my opinion. So, I wanted to share my 5 money skills that poker taught me, which we can totally pass on to our kids. No cards required. Okay? So, first off, smart money management. In poker, successful players manage their bankroll wisely. Okay, they don't bet all their chips on one hand, unless it's an all in for very strategic reasons. But for our kids, it's about teaching them to budget their money, not spending all their allowance at once, but thinking ahead so they have enough for future wants and needs. Second, assessing risk versus reward. Poker pros carefully weigh their decisions, considering the odds and potential outcomes. Okay, we can help our kids do the same with their spending choices. Is that new toy really worth dipping into your savings or not? Third, critical thinking over impulse buys, for example. Okay, here, poker players really rely on strategy, not just luck. Let's encourage our kids to pause and think before making purchases, especially when they're being swayed by flashy ads or peer pressure. And fourth, a big important thing is the tilt factor, okay? Essentially, emotional control. It's like a money superpower. In poker, letting emotions, for example, after a big loss, so they call it the tilt, letting emotions get the best of you and drive decisions can really lead to big losses. And so, teaching our kids to stay calm and make choices based on logic can help them avoid regrettable spending. And then finally, patience and long term planning. The best poker players know it's not about winning every hand, but making smart decisions that pay off over the long term. Let's show our kids the value of saving up for something they really want instead of just going for instant gratifications. Okay? Back in the day, I used to be called the Rock. Maybe be because of my play style, I would be very humble most of the time, slow playing. But then if I see the right odds, I would just really play aggressively. And besides that kind of also taught me how to do this behavior in the day to day life. But besides that, what I really remember is when I first played back in 2000, must have been 2004 or 5. The relationship that I had with money was very different than I have it now because my parents never really taught us on how to deal with money as a tool. We were always very emotionally attracted to money instead of seeing it really as a means to an end. And once I started playing poker, and I remember betting $1 or I mean euro at that time, and maybe €5, my pulse was going up. And at the same time, the just keeping a cool head, analyzing the opponent. This is something that's really valuable, in my opinion, when it comes to day to day life, especially in a business environment, and especially when it comes to financial literacy. So, here's the fun idea. Why not turn all these lessons into a family activity this week, for example? Maybe you could create a simple game where your kids get play money and have to make choices about spending, saving, and investing. And if you really want to go one step further, you could introduce them to actual poker or maybe start with card games in general, like Go Fish or a five card draw until you graduate them to hold them because it's a little bit more complicated with betting strategy and all that. Personally, my daughter is 5 years old. She loves playing poker with us, even though it's very basic and we don't use any chips yet. I mean, we do use chips, but we're not really serious about betting. But I do want to foster that in her, and especially keeping a poker face and emotional control and all that type of stuff. So I'm really excited to play poker in the future with her, and I hope that she'll pick it up and have a great time overall. So this is it. Those are my money skills that I learned from poker that helped me a lot in my life so far. I hope this was somewhat interesting to you. And if you want to have a little bit more of deeper detail on how to implement this with the child, go to minimoneymentors.com/sign up and check the newsletter, and you'll get it right into your inbox. Otherwise, I hope you liked it. Hit the bell, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what you think. Is poker a valid strategy? And I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.